Ladies and gentlemen, they are no strangers to ultra running, to your Instagram feed, probably. It's Callie Vinson and Scott Traer joining me in the flesh. How you guys doing?
Hello,
Great.
pretty good. Yeah.
And who do we have here?
This is Dusty.
Dust.
We originally were planning to foster him, and then I don't know, probably a weekend we decided we're not going to give him back. So we
Well,
adopted him. Yeah.
welcome to the family. I hope you like the limelight there, Dusty,
Yeah.
because you're going to get a whole lot of it. Such a
Oh yeah.
cutie. Oh,
Yeah. He's a sweetheart. Yeah, we
looks.
think he's about 11 years old.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adopting old dogs is kind of my thing. So,
Oh.
and
Oh,
I am like the worst foster dog
Yeah.
parent
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
darn.
Yeah.
How
Just
can you
like,
say
just
no?
give them to me already. I'll just
Yeah.
take it. Yeah.
Yeah. We got room.
Well, as much as I wish we had a lot of time today, we don't. So we're going to just fly right through this interview. And, we're going to start off with the Keys 100. Callie, you're just a few weeks away from that. Scott, you crewed her, of course, the Florida Heat, 100 miles, 27 plus hours. Oh my God. And a camera in
Yeah.
your face the entire
Yeah.
time. Callie,
Yep.
you ran it again. Scott, you crewed it. Whose race was harder, crewing or running?
Yeah, I don't know. Because we've both crewed at Badwater, which is a very similar race format, like Badwater's every 2 miles, Keys every between 2 and 5 generally. But that was rough. And I did javelina that the recent year, what was that, 2024, when it was like 100 or 99 degrees or whatever it was, and that
Yeah,
was, hot. This felt way worse because of the humidity. You're right on the islands the entire time, so there's no escaping the humidity. You just hope and pray for a breeze to come by, but even that still just makes it, I don't know, just a hot air in your face. Yeah, a very tricky race because of the heat, and I knew that going into it. But all in all, I loved it. I loved the race format. Generally in a trail race, you don't see your crew, for hours at a time, but at the Keys 100, you see them every 2 miles or three
right.
miles, 4 miles, and you get to go over a bridge and over the ocean in between. And then you catch up and you're like, hey, I need more ice. I'm dying out here. Okay, bye. And you see them again another 2 miles. So it was fun in that it never felt lonely. It always felt like a team sport, truly, out there. I had a team of three plus our film guy, Drew Darby. And then two of the people crewing were also pacing in the night section. So it was a good time. If anyone is ever, I don't know, interested in a prereq race for Badwater or wants to do something that's on pavement that's really hot and you end on a beach and you get a lot of seafood at the end because that's all there is in Key West, I 100% suggest it. Just be prepared to never stop saying, I feel hot.
Checks all those boxes. Scott, what
Yeah.
was that
Yeah.
experience like for
Yeah.
you?
On the crewing side, it's a great way to catch up with friends you haven't seen in a while because you're packed into a car
Yeah.
and you're going to be there in that car for the next 28 hours and you're going to have a lot of time to chit chat. So it was, I think having a good group of friends or a good crew makes an experience like that awesome. I
Mhm.
had so much fun just catching up with friends, seeing Calais, and you really feel like you're part of the team. You are in all the situations when you're crewing, but this where you're literally seeing them every 20, 30 minutes, it's like you're in it with them. So it's so fun.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, wow. So, in that humidity and the heat, and I can't imagine just seeing the, at the surface. Well, first, before I get into this, Callie, please, for folks who don't know, please give us a brief overview of what the Keys 100 is.
Yeah, the Keys 100 is a 100-mile ultra marathon that starts in Key Largo, so at mile 99, and ends in Key West at mile zero, as they say. And it is all on pavement. There are no aid stations at this race. You only have your crew in a van. You have a limited amount of people that you can have in your van. You can only have one van. So anything that you might need in this race has to be in that van or found along the highway. And it is spicy. It is in the middle of May in Florida, where it's probably going to be mid 80s in the daytime and mid 80s in the nighttime. There's no dip in temperature like there is in the desert here. So it is hot in the day and in the night. And with humidity, it feels like, upwards of almost 100, maybe like 98, 97. Depends on the year. So be prepared to drink a lot and put a lot of ice on your body because the only way to cool is with ice, basically. And it melts fast. As soon as there was ice on my body, it was gone in 18 to 20 minutes. So,
that's that race, the location of it's so unique in that there are only there are three ways to get almost anywhere,
yeah.
by plane, by boat, and by driving. But there's only one road in and out
Yeah.
of Key West.
hmm
And you think that, oh, it's got to be so serene and beautiful. I get to see the ocean the entire time. I'd imagine that would be just a mental struggle to endure that forever.
There were many points because I think you go over like 42 bridges. So there's quite a few bridges to go over. And I think every single one that I could see, I mean, I thought about hopping over into the ocean just to be like, you know what? I need to cool down. There's the ocean right there. I'm gonna go swim with the dolphins for a bit. I'll be right back. Um, yeah, it was tempting to want to go into the ocean, but it was kind of one of those things where you're like, you know what, that's going to be my carrot to dangle at the end of it if there's no chafing involved. I'll jump in the ocean at the end, but of course I got to the end and I was like, put me in the van, put me in air conditioning. I'm tired of the sun. I don't want to see the sun for at least a week. We're done.
Yeah, you kind of lost me at the chafing and the salt water, and
Yeah.
no, thank you, pal. No,
Hard.
thank you.
Yeah, on the crewing side, there actually was some swimming. There's a
Oh
few
yeah, you
longer
can jump in.
stretches that's like, 5 or 7 miles.
hmm
So then, you got an hour, right? And you're right there, and the water was warm, and obviously we were hot. So again, another perk to crewing that event, you get to jump in nice warm ocean water and swim while you wait
I'm
sometimes.
picturing Scott in like a rubber ducky inner tube with a big hat and like the
Just
zinc over the nose, and yeah, just kind of paddling with his fingertips,
Yeah.
no
we do
hurry,
have a
it's
good
all
photo
good.
of it. Yep.
So for you, Scott, being Callie's partner in life, and you've coached so many people and crewed so many people. But when it's your person that's running and really, on the struggle bus, on this one lane road, what's that like for you? Like, what hat do you have to wear? Is there conflict involved here with that? What's that experience like?
No, I don't think there's any conflict. I think going into it, right, I think we know what the goal is, and sometimes from race to race, it could be different.
hmm
Um,
Oh, let me be
but
clear. Let me just say, like, inner conflict with yourself, like, she's my
mm,
person and I see her struggling and fuck, this is hard to watch.
hmm
no, I don't actually get it.
He's
I
okay
really
with
don't.
it.
Like, it's like you got to just, right, we're here, we're a sport, there's an overarching goal that we've been working on for months. So, right, I mean, if I'm crewing any athlete and I know how committed they are, like Kelly is, like that, like we're going for this goal as long as, you know, there's not something that's going to be dangerous per se.
hmm
So to me, it's easy to just kind of like step outside the caring relationship role and kind of be on the team of, hey, we have this thing, we're going to do everything in our power to do the thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, so to me, it's not. It's I just see her as an athlete out there, and being on her team where we have the same goal. So I'm just trying to get her there
I
as
think
best we can.
we also have the benefit of, living under the same roof. So communication as far as like race strategies and things I want to make sure I do and hydration goals, sodium goals, all those like, small details we thoroughly go over before the race. So it's pretty dialed in when it comes to the race itself, where there's not too much troubleshooting that generally needs to happen. I'm gonna knock on wood here. So that definitely helps. And I will say there was a point where you're on the side of a highway with very small width between you and the car on the highway. And I was very lucky that he was able to pace me over the 7 Mile bridge because that bridge is a little sketch,
Mm.
a little sketch with cars
Mhm.
driving by, at night. So it was good to have him there during that sketchy section.
As I understand it, and yeah, that would be sketchy. I've done a couple of these, like where you have the chase vehicle, and
Mm,
it's the one that goes from Calistoga, near Napa, all the way to Santa Cruz. And
mm,
it's a really
Mhm.
great event, but similar thing where your road people are right there the whole entire time, which makes it a bit of a party atmosphere. There's
yeah.
a lot of confidence in there too, of just knowing you're going to see your people here pretty soon.
hmm
I had the benefit of going off of course for many, 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 many miles uphill at one point, and
Oh,
my person had to come find me. So that was good too,
oh,
to have your chase vehicle to come
Yeah.
chase your lost
Yeah.
ass, me. Anyways, as I understand it, you had a name for your crew for this race.
Oh
Is that
yeah.
true?
Yep. We were the shrimp pimps because that's
sure.
exactly what I wanted to have after the race was like Key West finest shrimps. I'm a big seafood fan, born and raised Florida, so I was basically, born on seafood. So going back to Florida to have good seafood, where we don't have too much of that here in Arizona, we're pretty landlocked, but it was definitely a treat to have my pimps with me to endure on this adventure to go find good shrimp at the
Yeah.
end of it.
We did.
So one
Yeah.
thing that made this race pretty unique for you, and probably for anyone else out there, if that matters, that you did have as you said, Drew Darby out there, who is a documentary filmmaker. Correct if I'm wrong, but I believe he's out of Austin. Out
Hmm.
there, things that he's been part of that people are familiar with, Speed Project,
Hmm.
Barkley. Can you give us a little preview about what this is about?
Yeah, Drew Darby's going to be helping film a documentary about not just like my running journey, but life journey, kind of like the origin story of where I grew up in Florida, hence why he was there at that race particularly or specifically. And then he's going to be at the Mammoth later this year too, where probably the majority of the filming will take place. Mammoth Lakes being the backdrop for this documentary. But yeah, it's going to be just kind of like an all things life story to share more about like my transformations, share more about my family history, and just kind of the I guess struggles in that. But I'm excited to finally share this because I feel like it's been a long time coming and a story that a lot of people can resonate with maybe not the whole story, but bits and pieces of it. And I hope that after somebody sees it, that they feel a little something and maybe feel a little bit more inspired to believe in themselves more too.
You both are, I are so talented and creative with your social media accounts, and it's like must see, screen time to see you guys. And it's a joy to watch because it is entertaining, but it's also very vulnerable. Your guys, you really put yourselves out there, and it's just a whole lot of fun too. But
Yeah.
was it so? You're no strangers to, being in front of a lens, but
Mm.
in this sort of capacity where it's less about me doing it, it's my thing. Like this is very, very real. These are highs and super low lows.
Hmm.
Was How did that feel for both of you? Scott, start with you first, of having a crew there, camera guy with you, and just like knowing that you're showing up here, good and bad and the ugly.
Hmm.
Sure. Yeah, I think being Callie's partner, you're with a crew or camera with you a lot of times. So I have gotten a little used to it over the years. Um, but Drew's a friend, so I think he kind of just blends himself into the picture really well.
Hmm.
It's not like, oh, who's this person that's here? So Drew's a friend of ours, so I think, and that was a big part, I think, of Kelly selecting Drew was like, hey, like who can I be vulnerable with? Who do we feel comfortable around? Because we have to spend a lot of time with them around the two events. Um, yeah, so I think it kind of worked pretty well. Kelly made a good selection. He blends in well, and we're just ourselves, you know, when he's there.
Yeah, and that was something that I told him to, and we're gonna have in future conversations. Just, like it's okay to, if I'm having like a really bad moment, like I want you in there capturing it. Like feel free to capture all those things that are very real. Um, because I want this to be, as transparent of a story as possible to just show some of those, highs, but also a lot of the lows to be able to relate to people and find that connective tissue with somebody else out there who might be experiencing that or shared that part of their story. So yeah, I fully intend to cry my eyes out many times in front of Drew and in front of Scott, which I've done many times before. But that was a very important piece of, picking someone to be a part of this journey and to share this story, because it's got to be someone that I'm okay with,
Yeah.
sharing all of that with.
Yeah, yeah. Well said. Well said. Um, so before I got some questions for you, Scott, but before we go on to that, I do want to ask you about, you mentioned Mammoth a couple of times here. For those who don't know, you'll be making a return to
Mm-hmm.
Mammoth just for a few miles, just a,
Just a,
just a quick out and back. Tell us
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to the Mammoth this October. It starts on October 2nd. It's a 214-mile race-ish that circumnavigates Mammoth Lakes. And I did it last year for the inaugural year. That was my first inaugural race ever. And I was very nervous about that because you just have no data and, race recaps to follow. But turned out to be as smooth of a race as possible. I told Scott many times that was probably the most fun I've ever had at a race too, and it was a 200 mile, sleep
Mhm.
deprived multi-day event. And it was 100% because of the crew that I had that out there. I had Scott crewing, I had my friend Kyla out there crewing and pacing. I had two friends who were local to Mammoth, and we're gonna have some of those returning cast members for this year as well as two very elite runners, professional runners who are going to be a part of the crew too. And I'm excited to have them join us because I think that just shows that, the diversity of the running community is what makes it so special. The front of the pack, the winning people, and the back of the pack, who are finishing just before cutoff.
Yeah, yeah, you are such a champion for the back of the Packers, and so inspiring for so many people front to the back. Um, and I know they got Cocodona just recently came on your list for next year, so
Hmm.
so lots more to come, lots more
Yeah.
miles and training loads headed your
Yeah.
way.
Big
Scott,
time.
as we turn to you for a second, you're the 2025 USATF 24-hour champ, 138 miles, folks. Which is staggering. So sell me, Scott, on why that's not insane.
Yeah. The loop races, like I say, it's just it's different. You're seeing everyone's race, so you're seeing like their highs, their lows, you're seeing their crews very frequently. So it's just like a different style of racing. I think like that this is why like the backyard format's getting really popular at the moment. It's like you get to like I don't want to say make relationships, but like you're a little bit
Mm.
more involved in everyone else's event as opposed to like you finish the race and you're like, oh, how was so and so? How was this? How was that? So yeah, so it's just like yeah, a different style of racing. So whether, that event was on like a 1 mile loop or if it's a like a high school track, to me it's all the same. You're kind of just running around in circles, right? You stop paying attention to what's going on like with visually and maybe you're interacting more with the people on the track. So yeah, so I don't know. I feel like if people they seem like they're really boring that event. Hey, we're just running in circles, but it brings I guess, I don't know. Some people like it, right? And we see events like across the years, every year, right? It's the same group of people. They come and it's so fun there. Um, so yeah, so just a different style of racing that I think is just as fun as trail racing.
I think Scott also gets a lot of energy from the crowd, from, the spectators, from the other crews. And so being able to absorb that constantly versus, every few hours, I think is something to definitely lean into if you like it. And you definitely love the crowd when you're out there. Yeah.
For as a competitor, though, as you're really pushing your limits, um, what does that teach you in that style event that maybe the trail can't?
Yeah, great question. Pacing, right? I think athletes can learn a lot about pacing in that format event because you remove all the variables, right?
Yeah.
Like it's hard to look at pacing, say at Western States, right? Because the front of the course is different than the back, the temperatures are changing, this, that. But when you start stripping away all the layers and it's just like, hey, you're on this flat surface, sometimes it's like, if you think of like the dome, it's indoor, so the temperature doesn't change. You have to start figuring out like, hey, like what is a proper pacing strategy? Like when you get better or can like do that sport more often, I don't want to say it becomes like a marathon, but like you go out there with like, hey, like this is probably the range I should be in, right? And in a trail race, that's generally not the case. And I think a lot of athletes, when they go to do that, they realize like, wow, their pacing skills are not so good because it just shows up in the data and you can't hide behind all these different things. So
Mhm.
that's the one thing I think every athlete can learn is like what does a 6 hour effort feel like, or a 12 hour or a 24 hour, right? Like you can just then go look at the data and say, hey, how did I do with this, from a pacing perspective?
Mm-hmm. We almost got a few more minutes with you guys, and so I really want to kind of hone in on something that people like you guys you're really well known for. It's the humor, the costumes, the mug club.
Mm.
Um, tell us about the genesis of that, and kind of like I hear your guys' why of like why you do your running. It's a great
Mhm.
question and a very like the most important question. But for something like this, you don't have to do this. You don't have to put yourselves out there in this format in this way. It's risky because humor is vulnerable. Like
Mhm.
because if it falls flat, it's like, oof, boy, that was a
Comedy is the hardest writing form to
it
write
is.
for
This is a
sure.
stegosaurus, right?
Yeah.
So what's your why, and then kind of what's at the chewy nougat center of that for you both? Callie, you then Scott.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that I've generally, for most of my life, just not been a very serious person. Like I don't know, it's hard to ruffle my feathers. I'm pretty laid back most of the time. You never hear me yell. Like I'm just very even keel. So humor is just something that's kind of come naturally as a way to just, I don't know, spice up things for myself. And I love to laugh, and I love to, I don't know, see things from a different angle too, just because there's always opportunity to see things a different way or a different perspective. So comedy or humor has been a really fun way to just kind of, I don't know, merge all of those layers together and take running way less seriously than I would say, admittedly, more times than I do, because I do sometimes just, as a coach and someone who likes to do well. But humor and comedy has just been a really fun way to kind of bring it back and be like, no, we're on a floating rock right now. It's not all that serious. We're paying to run this thing that our body's, meant to do. So yeah, humor and fun, just a great way to enjoy running.
I love it. Scott, what about you?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I always loved comedy, going to stand up. I've tried writing like stand up stuff. So like comedy is just part of life for me. So I love that. And then I'm not great with media. Callie obviously is. I'm not even that great with comedy. I feel like I just kind of blurt out some ideas. Callie is much more polished, but sometimes that works because one of my ideas eventually turns into something good. And then when we get to go create it, it's fun for me to create with Callie, like out there, like we're like shooting different scenes, like I don't know, it's just fun. And then when it comes to life on social media, right, then you get people reacting, and then that like gets Callie and I to like go back and forth, privately to one another. So it's like this really long, like I don't know, I don't want to call it a date, right? But it's like this teeny tiny little project you get to work on, and it's
True.
all just for fun. What if it flops? It's like who cares? It's not like we're gonna do another one next week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I also appreciate your just blurting of ideas, because I come from a background of heavily vetting all of the weird ideas that pop into my head, because in an ad agency world, like you have to edit and edit and edit and edit before it even goes to, a creative review internally before it gets pitched, to your brand. So having someone who's very unfiltered and doesn't have, that lens is refreshing for me, because sometimes I edit myself way too much, more than I should.
I love it. Well, if I could produce a Netflix special where you guys lead like the roasting of insert
Ooh.
ultra runner here, I'm all for it. I'm
That
in.
would be
Yeah,
that'd be pretty
Totally in.
fun. That's
love
needed.
it.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
that's
think so.
needed.
So, well, you guys, I know you got to run, but thank you so much for sharing your time with us.
Yeah.
Callie, good luck over at Javelina. I think you're doing the Jackass
Yeah.
31K, and then,
Hmm.
and of course, Mammoth. And congratulations again at Keys and Scott to all your success and endeavors. And we'll be watching. I know I will
Thank
be.
you.
So, thanks for all you do to our community. We're just so blessed to have you both.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks.
Thanks.